is start feeling free to just fill the comment section with any like questions, queries, or anything you want to ask me about whether life living here in Japan, or anything else like relating to cars, business, just my opinion on something, or just anything like that. So feel free to start filling the comment section with any question you guys might have. For now though, while I wait for those questions to start populating, I am going to start going through a couple of my videos, and I'm going to read and answer a few questions that a lot of people have been asking that I haven't been answering, and I'll explain why I haven't been answering those questions. Mainly just, like, I'd say like my most popular video of questions unanswered would have to be my how to import a car from Japan video. Even though I say in the video probably like 10 times, if you're interested in buying a car, email me, emails in the description kind of thing. I still get like heaps of comments of people going, oh, how much for a GTR, or how much for a Skyline, and you guys get the point, right? How is Japan if you want to immigrate there? That would depend on your nationality, if I was to be honest. And that's not because the country is racist, it just depends on what the government has organized with your government in the means of like perks for each other to make it easier for, you know, people from this nationality and Japan to go backwards and forwards. Australia has an amazing relationship with Japan, which makes it extremely easy for any Australian to migrate or become a Japanese resident. So there are multiple ways that you can get over here, start living, start working, and it's just so simple for an Australian. I'll just list off a few things. So the most obvious thing that you probably heard of is the working holiday visa. That normally is, I guess, what everyone normally gets over here on. That's what I came over on. It's really simple. The Japanese embassy in Australia, they're just so nice. You walk in there, tell them that you're interested in the program, and fill out the paperwork. And then essentially what happens is they then ask you to show them like a bank statement to say that you have money for a flight ticket there, and enough for you to survive on in Japan for a couple months, and then either a plane ticket booked back or enough money on top of you being able to survive in Japan, enough money there as well for a plane ticket. Now, so the easiest thing to do is at least have like $3,000 to $5,000 in an account. Probably 5,000 is better, aim for that, and then you just simply go in there with that bank statement, and from there it's pretty straightforward. They really help you out at the embassy. You give them their passport, and then within a week you pretty much have a working holiday visa, which the first installment of that is 6 months, and that's, like I said, like they want to make sure you can survive there for 6 months with the funds that you show them. And then at the end of that 6 months, while you're in Japan, you have the option to renew that for another 6 months. And then when that 6 months expires, once again, another 6 months and another 6 months. You can get a total of 2 years out of it. The only downfall is every 6 months you have to go in and renew it. And that can be a bit of a pain in the ass. Unfortunately, I never had to do that. And that was because, you know, I'd already met my now wife before I had decided I was moving to Japan and everything like that, and instead of me having to go through the crazy paperwork of getting the whole spouse visa, the first thing I did was I was like, alright, I just need to get there and then I can sort that all out later, which is why I did the working holiday, and that made more sense for me just to quickly get there as soon as I could. Cost of living in Japan, honestly, it is about the exact same as it is here, as it is in Australia to me. I find that you get more for your money though, definitely a lot more for your money. Easiest thing that, I mean, obviously in car parts, you definitely get a lot more for your money. You know, you can pick up, say, what's a good example? I guess, let's talk about the RB26 motor, right? That's a really sought after engine right now. The supply and demand is really high, so the prices have skyrocketed everywhere, right? They have skyrocketed here. Previously, you could get a full RB26 from either a 33 or a 34 GTR, and they were like $1,500, maybe even $2,000 for like a really low kilometers one. Bam, USA, all of a sudden, 25-year law breaks, they start getting GTRs, price goes up. At the moment, they're about $5,000 to get. In Australia, with all the running gear and everything that I saw bolted on, same package I'm comparing here, instead of $5,000, maybe like $5,800, $6,000 Australian, I'm saying roughly, here in Japan. They're now like $10,000 in Australia. So that's nearly like you're paying 50% of the price you would here in Japan. But general cost of living with food and stuff like that, you get way more for your dollar. Like, you know, if you're working in Australia, you're paying $10 roughly a day for lunch, you know, whether that's McDonald's or you're going to Subway or something like that. Here in Japan, I'd probably spend $5 and I can get like a really big meal. There are these places called like Matsuya and Yoshinoru. I can't remember that one because I don't go there that much. But there are all these like little chains of restaurants that are like kind of like an get in and out kind of fast food restaurant, but it's not fast food per se. It's like a full beef bowl with like a big omori size of rice. Omori means large. Like a big size of rice and then like beef on top of that and barbecue sauce and that's Asian barbecue sauce. It's kind of like a soy sauce kind of thing. And like that'll fill you up and it'll only cost you $3 and you get like a free drink with that and like it's just great. And renting is definitely cheaper. You pay per month and for an apartment with like 3 bedrooms, it's like depending where you live, like if you're really close to the station and stuff like that. I mean, you can really comfortably get something for like $1,200 a month, and that's with 3 bedrooms, bathroom, kitchen, all that kind of stuff. So, like, cost of living here is probably, I would say, a lot less than Australia, because you definitely get a lot more for your dollar. Let's have a look. Where do I live in Tokyo? I live in Setagaya, Yoga, but I am actually about to move soon. Where I'm going to move to, I don't exactly know yet. We haven't exactly picked the house that we want, and that is because it's just a little bit intense, I guess, right now. We've got a lot of stuff happening and need to be able to, I guess, like, reevaluate our situation. We know we're going to be getting a house, not an apartment, and something with a car park, and we've got quite a few options right now to choose from, and unfortunately, I can't do a lot of that because my reading Japanese is not at it's not at a level at all. I'm okay speaking casual Japanese. I'm not okay reading and writing whatsoever. And I have to fix that now because I just can't get a decent head unit in my car that's got English on it for the maps. So I need to study the actual like hiragana and kanji, and I'm going to force myself to start doing that this month. But yeah, so my wife is looking for the properties, and obviously she's really busy right now with her work. They're flying her around the country and stuff for all this kind of... she works for a company called TerraCycle, and she's in charge of doing like graphic design and pitching all these kinds of things. And essentially, the company recycles plastic and turns it into goods, like for companies to be able to then advertise that they're a green kind of company, being able to recycle products and stuff. So right now, she's literally being flown all around Japan to clean up beach trash, ocean trash, stuff that washes up on the beach. She's not picking it up or anything like that. This is kind of a joke we say. But she's literally like organized to collect all of that. And there are tons and tons and tons of plastic. I couldn't believe it when she showed me the report that just wash over from China onto Japan's shores. And she's set up a program with this company where they're collecting it all and then turning it into shampoo bottles or something like that. So she gets flown around Japan doing that, and because she's so busy, it's hard for us to find a place right now. But we do need to move really quickly because we've got to get out of this place. The lease is up in like a month. But yeah, that's what's happening. So yeah, as I said, I live in Setagaya Yoga, and that's about 10 minutes from Shibuya. So if you know where Shibuya is, which is the crossing in Tokyo Drift where they did that big drift scene that was CG'd, not real at all, unfortunately. That is where I live. I'm 10 minutes from there on the train. Are you working on your Japanese whilst living in Japan? Does your Japanese limit your job? Okay. There are plenty of foreigner-based companies here in Tokyo. Believe it or not, if you're Australian, Telstra exists here in Japan, and they have some of their support centre here. And they're completely only English speakers. I had a friend that actually was working in Australia for Telstra and then just transferred over to Tokyo Telstra and started working there and living in Japan. Knew absolutely no Japanese. Mind you, though, he has really picked up Japanese really fast. He's doing really well. So there are lots of companies here, and there are plenty of job hunters or recruiters that are looking for native English speakers to get them jobs. Having a degree does help from university, or a lot of experience and a really good resume. So those are the key things to, I guess, make sure that you have. Otherwise, if you just want to come over and you don't really want to work like full time or anything, you can score an English teaching job like that, like so fast. So many schools, so many English teaching programs are just looking for native English speakers. They don't care if you don't speak any Japanese. You know, some of them there will speak English and just like give you stuff in English for you to teach the kids and the students how to speak English and go through lesson plans and stuff like that. So you can comfortably do that if you only want to, you know, live here temporarily and then go home later. So, you know, English teaching is definitely a really common thing that a lot of native English speakers do while they're here. For me, I am working on my Japanese. I did just say before that I need to focus on reading and writing now. The company I work for is actually a UK-based company. I do a lot of communications between the UK and Japan here, and I actually help a fair bit sometimes with like miscommunication issues and stuff like that. My Japanese, though, is casual level. There's a whole nother language to Japanese that's business. So I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of colleagues around me at work that are very bilingual, spent time, you know, born in Japan, raised in Japan, then at a young age moved to America for their parents' work and then learn English and vice versa. So we are able to really communicate quite well, actually. And the best thing about being in that kind of environment for me is I'm able to pick up Japanese a lot quicker as well, especially the business side of things. My work is full-time, but it's kind of not at the same time. I have to do a certain amount of hours per month. That's true. But because it's TV production and I'm an engineer, I go in sometimes for night shifts, sometimes for day shifts, and I'm always averaging at least 3 days off a week. So it's really cruisy, really good. Money's really great. And I mean, I could probably work there without knowing any Japanese. So don't worry, if you're coming over here, you can definitely find a job. You won't have a problem with that. Next one. I love JDM, but also, what are the odds of finding quality non-JDM cars in the auctions? So European cars in the auctions. Yeah, they do come through the auctions, but they're not really that common. Like, really, really not common. Reason for that is there are a lot of car dealers based here in Japan that specialize in importing those European models or American model cars and selling them here in Japan. You're allowed to have a left-hand drive car here. Obviously, if the manufacturer is based in Japan, it has to be right-wheel drive. But if it's an import, it can be a left-hand drive. There's no problem with that. They don't have to switch it or anything like that. So there are actually a lot of left-hand drive Mercedes driving around, like supercars. Actually, a lot of Mustangs lately. A lot of Japanese people have been getting into Mustangs. They're all left-hand drive. So kind of you just have to go through a dealer, unfortunately. Mainly because I guess they're just importing them in small quantities for themselves under their own kind of like shipping consignments. So they never really hit the auction unless someone buys a car off them and then wants to try and sell it, and no one wants to buy it, so then they give it to the auctions. In that case, that's when they'll appear, but that's when it's already changed hands, like it's already been secondhand and used car that's then shipped to Japan and then been used in secondhand again. So it's probably, they're normally not that great of a rating, normally R's for repairable, which is below any number rating. So you're not really going to see many European cars go through the like Japanese auctions. What is the plan with the RB30? I guess you're referring to all the RB30s. They're being exported to the USA. I have a good relationship with a few workshops over there, and obviously, as you guys know, Australia and New Zealand were the only ones to get the RB30, which is just a 3-litre bottom end. It's the closest thing to a 2JZ that the RB fanboys like me can get. So they're just sought after. Sure, they're a really old block, and billet blocks are available, but they're still cheaper and you can have fun with them, and I think people build up to 1,000 horsepower with them. So yeah, I guess I support and help out the car community in the States and supply them with a steady supply of them for now, just so they can start experimenting with the RB30 and just see where you know, what they're able to do with that. It would be kind of cool now to see what America does with that, because they haven't really had a lot of RB engines in there in the States that much. I mean, sure, people have been able to buy the motors themselves that have been like, you know, shipped in by like people like JDM Orlando and stuff like that, and put them in S chassis 240s and everything. But you know, you guys never really got Skylines, and because of that, not many people, I guess, really spent a lot of time research and development R&D on the RBs in the States. And there is a lot of 2JZ stuff out there that would not exist if, you know, Americans didn't get behind and start R&Ding and testing and experimenting with it. So I'm kind of excited now that the Skyline's available over there to see what happens. You know, there's so many people that live in the States that are really intelligent and smart mechanically, and if they're going to start looking at the RV engine and just saying, hey, how can I improve that? It would be cool to see where it goes. Next question. I'm currently in Japan and I study automobile in Kangan Institute July onwards. How about studying automobile in Australia? So studying automotive things in Australia, I actually don't know much about. I'm not a mechanic, right? First of all, you'll hear me say this a lot in my videos. I am personally not a mechanic. Mechanics, like working on cars and things like that, that's just my hobby. I love looking at things and going, how can I make that work better, or how can I create something that'll unlock its potential? So for me, I love cars, I love speed, I love drifting, I just love everything about it. It's my hobby. As for like in Australia, sure, I own Otaku Garage, but I also own it with my business partner, Sam Vaines. He's the mechanic, right? I'm kind of like, I guess I'm kind of like the brains when it comes to business, like, and like the whole, like, you know, online store or anything IT related, networking, and just sorting out like admin stuff, payroll, and just all the nitty gritties and policy stuff, and like all that stuff I sort out. And then Sam, he manages the workshop. He makes sure that jobs are getting in and out. He, you know, we have another mechanic there. Another fully quiet. Blah blah blah. Sorry, I need a quick drink of water. Give me a sec. So Sam Vaines, he's the head mechanic, and then we have Caleb, who's another fully qualified mechanic, and then we have Michael, and he's currently in his second-year apprentice. Michael is actually, he's actually kind of, how do I say this? He was like there from the get-go. So when me and Sam, when we started Otaku Garage, we literally started it with $160 each. I kid you not. We were just really good friends, and you know, I guess with my personality and like always wanting to just do stuff and like get things done and start something new and pioneer and that kind of thing. Me and Sam wanted to build a drift car together. We wanted to get into drifting. And one night I saw a random post on Facebook. Some kid was like, "Oh, my mum is going to get my car towed or kick me out of the house if I don't get this car out of here today. The car runs perfectly fine. I've lost my license for like 5 years. Take it, $500 or something." I offered him like $300, and then he said $325. And anyways, we drove to the Gold Coast that night, and we picked up this MX-83 Cressida that apparently had a rebuilt 7M in it. Later when we pulled it all down, I mean, yeah, the head looked brand new, but it wasn't a rebuilt motor. I think even the crank turned out later, the person who we ended up selling the motor to told us that the crank had a helicoil in it for the harmonic balancer bolt. Like, just dodgy things all over it. And obviously, yeah, so anyways, we ended up actually turning that $165 each into like $3,000, and then from there I was just like, we started buying a few other things, and then like kind of like just, I guess, like parting cars, buying and parting cars kind of thing. We weren't buying cars yet, but it was more like buying engines and things, and that were really cheap, fixing them up and then selling them. From there, everything just, you know, I just said, hey, we could really start a business from this, you know. And I was initially just thinking parts, but then Sam, you know, was like this, and then I was like, you know, I've always wanted to have a workshop, and then things just kind of exploded from there, and we started Otaku Garage, and I guess the rest is history. Michael pretty much came along around the time that we were still parting cars, essentially, and he bought a S13 shell off me, and he was going to do it up for a drift car. And yeah, like, I guess he got along with us really well. He started like kind of coming in and hanging out with us, and then before you know it, he just started like showing up a lot. I think he lost his job by memory, so he just wanted to, like, I guess, like hang out and help out somehow. And he got behind the vision and the dream, and then eventually, yeah, he wanted to become a mechanic. So then we offered him an apprenticeship, and yeah, things just kind of progressed. And the crazy thing is we've been able to do Otaku Garage without any debt or like going to the banks, getting a loan or anything like that. So it's been like completely amazing. Let's move to the next question. So yeah, with getting into automotive industry in Australia, you need to look into how to get an apprenticeship. From what I understand, you can essentially just go around with your resume and show interest in it, and then if you find someone that's willing to take you on, then there's a whole bunch of paperwork that needs to be filled out by your future employer and them, and then once that contract of apprenticeship is done, you're pretty much got to learn from them and start working full-time with them. Unfortunately, though, the pay is quite low. Everyone knows apprentice wages aren't that great. They're great for employers, but they're not great for the people that are trying to earn a living from it. But the government has heaps of incentives for that. So just, yeah, Google about Australian apprenticeships. Moving on. Where are we? Ready copy intake manifold for the RB25, or keep the stock manifold until you can afford a better one. Keep the stock one until you can afford a better one, hands down. Gritty manifolds, if you get a genuine one, they're still like $1,600, believe it or not, or $1,500. You might be able to find someone who's trying to sell old stock for like $1,300 Australian, but they're around that price range, $1,300 to $1,600. Gritty fake ones, the Freddies, they're like, I've seen them as low as like $150, $200 now on eBay in Australia. They are very poorly made, cast ones. Some even have really bad pitting and stuff. They're nasty. Lots of people have been saying, like I've read, like you just need to Google on the forums really, and heaps of people complain about how the bolt holes are sometimes in the wrong places and they had to re-drill it out and stuff like that. So, look, if I was dying to put a forward-facing plenum on an RB, I would just save up a little bit and get something quality, right? Do something properly the first time. This is the biggest thing that plagues the car industry, right? People are like, oh, it's cheap in China, I'll just get that for now and not have to worry about it. Sure, if you're just building a track beater and you don't care, China stuff's good, and just buy the cheapest whatever gets you on the track fastest and gets you in seat time, because that's what it's all about. When you're building a really nice daily or really nice street car or something you want to get into racing properly with, you don't just go and, oh, this is cheap now, so I'll buy that, but then plan to upgrade it later, because then you're spending like double the money, right? Because if this costs $300, but the part you want in the future is $800, instead of you just saving up and buying the part for $800, you're actually paying $1,100. So it just doesn't make sense, and it's going to make your wallet less empty if you just be patient. That's the key, patience when it comes to cars, and yeah, like I said, be patient and just wait and save up and buy the proper stuff. You know, with the manifolds that we sell through Otaku Garage, we really wanted to, you know, develop something and sell something to the market that was right in the middle of like a really nice price range. Something that's fair, something that's a really good flowing manifold that doesn't like starve certain cylinders or cause you know, certain cylinders to run lean and stuff like that, or have mismatched flows per cylinder and stuff. Something that's decent quality flowed, something that looks nice, something that is really good quality, but not at like a $3,000 price range like Hypertune or Plasmin and stuff like that. So that's why we went and we found a manufacturing factory, and we sent them some designs, and then from there they were developed. And yeah, if you have a look on our online store, you can get one there. We sell them for only like $999, and if you're outside of the country, you get a GST free, which then means it's $899. So, and that's Australian, so you can't really lose with that, and it's a kit that comes with everything. I just saw someone make a manifold for the 4G63s. I'm pretty sure that yeah, that's an Evo engine. We do actually make those. I just haven't got them on the online store yet, but I'll get to that soon, I guess. I'm so busy with other stuff. Really quickly, let's go to another question. When do we see your new car? I've been working on it all day today. I just put coilovers in, new brakes, I did a compression check, heaps and heaps and heaps of stuff today. It was great. Awesome day working on a car. It kind of sucked though, because I was working in like a gravel car park with grass and dirt, and it's never nice working on a car on the ground, right? Especially when the cheap jack, I had to get a jack, right, to jack the car up. And I just jumped on Amazon and bought the thing that could get to me the next day, because I have Amazon next day delivery here, where literally if you order it that night before midnight, it arrives between 9 a.m. and 12 the next day. So I bought a jack. It was like $60. Biggest financial mistake I've ever made. It's absolutely junk. Anyways, it didn't get the car up as high as I thought it would, and anyways, so it was a real pain in the butt. But when you get to see my new car, when the Australian vlogs are finished, which is only another 2 more videos, I believe. Let me just check, actually. That way I can make sure that you guys all know. So there's a video scheduled to go live Monday morning, well, Monday at 1 a.m., which is 12 EST for everyone in America, and that's 2 a.m. for everyone in Australia. So let's have a look here. So there's another 2 more videos, as I said, yeah. So 2 more Australian vlogs, and then after that, it's all pretty much vlogs on me fixing the car, revealing the car, and showing you what it is. Some of my close friends already know what it is. Please don't comment in the comment section and ruin it. Yeah, I really think you guys are going to be impressed. I'm really excited because it's perfect for exactly what I want, which is drifting here in Japan, going to Ibisu, going to Nikko Circuit, Fuji Speedway, and things like that, and just starting to like get my drifting skills up to a level where I am going to consider maybe even thinking about competing or getting in that area. We'll see what happens. I may just keep it as a hobby, but I'm a competitive person, and we'll see where that goes. Next question. All right, thanks, man. I doubt Japan has a good relationship with Holland, though. Holland. You know what? Let me find out. Babe, are you home?
Yes, I am home.
Come here for a sec. We'll ask the wife. I think she knows people. Do you know anyone from Holland that's come over to Japan? Do you know what the visa situation's like for them?
Holland?
Holland. Yeah.
But wait, what do you mean by visa situation?
Like, so you know how the Japanese government have certain relationships with different governments, and they have like a really nice relationship. Like for Australians, we get a work. They have a working holiday visa, because wouldn't Flow, because that's like the same region, right? I'm pretty sure everyone in Europe. Yeah, I just recommend Googling it, honestly. I'm not sure. I thought we had a friend that was from there, but we didn't. So sorry about that. But I know people from Germany, and I can't even remember right now. But yeah, people from Germany and around like that area in Europe, especially like Italy and all that. It's quite easy. They have a working holiday visa situation as well. So just jump on Google. I'm sure there's a lot of information there, like Gaijin Pot and things like that. You'll find it there. Next question. What were the biggest challenges you had to overcome starting your business? Stress, worrying about things like there not being enough money, or wondering what the next step was going to be.
Upsetting your wife.
That wasn't at the start of the business though. That's still like ongoing. Hey babe, don't forget we got a list those. Arigato. So, yeah, I think it was just, so like, for me, we just started the company, right? And it was like, just take each step as it comes, right? And for me, I think the biggest challenge was getting established, getting people in the door. And when you don't take a bank loan out to start your business, you have no money for advertising. And advertising is so important for getting known, for getting customers in the door. So we really struggled in the first 6 months, maybe even the first year, to get enough customers in the door for us to make even. To the point I'd never even drew a wage whatsoever from all the work that I was doing for Otaku Garage, like building the website, doing all the admin work, all the research and development, like, and just, you know, like late nights and all this stuff, working out marketing campaigns, some like with what money we did have and all this other stuff. Like, I didn't go to bed most nights till like 3 a.m. But you know, I never drew a wage, right? Because I wanted those funds to go back into the company to, you know, reinvest in you know, paying rent and buying more equipment and stuff like that. We were very, very, very fortunate that Sam Vaines, my business partner, his dad, out of nowhere, just wanted invested into our business. And that was amazing. It wasn't a huge amount of money, but it was enough to help kind of kickstart a few things like buy a hoist and stuff like that, which was amazing. And, you know, I think a very important thing is, don't forget, guys, the people that look after you, make sure you look after them in return. That is actually something very big here in Japanese culture. If someone scratches your back, you scratch theirs, right? So that's how, like, in JDM culture here, you know, you guys all talk about it. Like, oh, in Japan, no one gets, like, pissed off or complains about other people's cars and how they look. And, like, no one gives their opinion and says, yeah, you suck because you have a huge wang, right? Everyone gives me crap for my huge wing on my 34. I just embrace it. I love it. I think it's unique. I called my car a shopping cart the other day. On Facebook, because it kind of looks like a shopping cart with the big wing and like you push it. Yeah, anyways, like no one does that here in Japan. They respect one another. They look after one another. If someone helps them, then, you know, if that person then calls them up at like 5 a.m. in the morning or 2 a.m. at night, I just crashed my car on the mountain, I need help. He's like, all right, no worries. Drives out there, doesn't care that he's got work at like 7:30, helps him out, gets him home, then goes to work. Like, people here are just so authentic and amazing. So, when starting a business, guys, if anyone looks after you or helps you out, make sure you remember that. Don't forget to return the favor. And then your relationship keeps going, and then you both benefit from it. So that's something I really want to recommend, as well as just in business as well. If you do business with someone and you do good business with them, then and you know, make good money out of them, then do the same for them. What is the business that they do? See, you know, if a potential or opportunity arises, do the same back for them and give them, you know, a plug, or, you know, recommend them to someone, and then so that in return they get business, right? You always got to look after one another, especially just in business general, or if you're a small business owner. It's just how it works and how the world goes around in business. Yeah, so as I said, the biggest thing was just getting established, advertising, getting known. I think after like 2 years of being open, like, we did a really good job, and I actually learnt a lot about social media marketing, about search engine optimization and stuff. So we were popping up on Google and things like that. So it was just a really big learning curve for me, but it was amazing, and the results are there. You know, we have a Facebook page that's over 15,000 likes now. Instagram's like above 4K. I get emails non-stop about you know, importing cars or parts or anything like that. So, like, we're really doing quite well now, which is great. Okay, that was that answer. Yoshinoya, that's correct. Someone corrected me on that place I couldn't remember. Wow, I'm really falling behind in the questions. Recommended izakaya in Tokyo. Do you guys know what izakaya is? Izakaya is just like, you can't call it a bar, and you can't call it like a drinking place or anything like that. It's hard to explain. You go there, you sit down at these like Japanese traditional tables, and you just eat and drink and hang out with your friends. It's literally, and they're not closed off booths. Everything's wide open. All the tables are all out in the open. It's like as if you all opened up the street and just set up tables everywhere, all the length down the street, and everyone just sat down, and there were people serving you drinks, whatever you want to drink, whatever you want to eat, you know, whether everything. And it's just like a really awesome place for you to hang out with your friends. Where to go for that? You can pretty much find it anywhere. If I was to say, like, where's a good place for that, I would just say, like, Shibuya's a pretty central place, and there's some really good izakaya there. So go check it out. If you want to know whereabouts it is, it's kind of where, like, Burger King and McDonald's is. Once you cross over the crossing and like kind of move a little bit in towards Shibuya a bit. I'm sure everyone knows, if you just jump on Google Maps and you type in like Burger King, Shibuya, you'll find it. Just look for the signs that say izakaya and all the people at the front trying to get a commission to get you to come in. I love Yoshina, it's so cheap. Yeah, I know, it is cheap, but so is Matsuya, so I don't know. Which car did I buy? I already said I'm not revealing that yet. You have something on your face. Do I? I don't think so. What is your opinion on rotary engines? Rotary engines are... They're an amazing engine, amazing idea, because it's a rotating assembly, and instead of up and down movement, that's then, there's a lot of energy loss going from up and down to a crankshaft and then to a flywheel, right? The fact that the rotary engine is able to rotate, and that's how the combustion works, it's direct, right? So you have a lot of potential there. And when I say potential because the rotary engine, obviously, as everyone knows, they have their flaws. They don't last as long as a traditional combustion engine, which is, got pistons and conrods. They sound amazing. You can do cool things with them and just stack them and stuff like that. And I really think we still haven't even touched the surface of, like, the potential that's in a rotary engine. There is just so much more to develop and make better and R&D with, that I really think the rotary engine's not going to disappear anytime soon. Mazda did announce that in the new Vision RX they're bringing out, that's going to have an all-new generation rotary engine in it. So what that means is, I'm not entirely sure yet. I don't even think they've even released any information about the motor yet. So I'm really curious to see where that what they created, and because the main reason why the RX got canned was because, from my understanding, is that there was no way for it to meet emission standards, and for that reason they just canned the whole production of RX-8s, and they just couldn't develop the motor at that point. And I think there was also a period where people just stopped wanting, like, small rear-wheel drive cars, because there was just so many in Japan, used cars that people were buying. But now, obviously, Toyota released the 86, and people are getting back into them again, and it's just this never-ending, like, revolving, like, everyone's repeating itself again. So, yeah. Anyways. Jim, get a job. Yep. What's your opinion on RB20 longevity? Looking for a 4.32 currently. The RB30 is probably one of the most underrated RV engines out there. It is actually the most reliable, I argue, and that is because of its displacement, and it has just about no harmonics. The biggest failure point on any RB engine, if anyone who's an RB fan can tell you, is the oil pump. And why? Nissan, I don't know if they were cutting corners or they actually genuinely thought it was going to be a good idea to develop it that way, but the way that the oil pump gear goes onto the crank, it's not like a spline-driven one like they do on the JZ. It's this weird kind of like offset collar that goes on, and they just break because of the harmonics. Harmonics are, when you get a tuning fork and you tap it and it goes, and it vibrates, that's harmonics. That goes through the crank and vibrates and causes things to chatter and things like that, right? That's what your harmonic balancer is, right? It's trying to balance that out. The gears break and the oil pump seizes and no oil gets around and things break. That doesn't seem to happen on the RB20s because there's pretty much no harmonics whatsoever, because the displacency is so perfect that it's really well balanced. So the RB20 is just so good for high revving and longevity. As you said, like they normally last a really long time. Look after them, do frequent oil changes, thrash on them if you want, that's fine. Just make sure you look after them with maintenance and stuff. Don't go throwing like 30 psi in with stock internals. Come on, guys. Like, drifters are like, oh yeah, I got a stock 20, she'll be right, she'll last me for ages, and then pump an 18 psi of boost in there. Like, of course it's not going to like that. Factory internals, guys. So get a really nice responsive turbo, 12 psi. Don't go past 14. Like, just stick to 14 if you want a bit more. If you want to build one, then go to 20, 30 psi or whatever you want to do. You can, sure, you can't get heaps of power and torque out of the RB20, but you can get enough for you to have a really fun drift car and something that's really reliable and going to last a long time and cop all the abuse. So that's my argumentative point. I really like the RB20. Lots of people don't. Because they just think they're junk because they're not as torquey and quick as the 25 and the 26 is. But I arguably, as I said, I think they are very underrated for what they are. They are such a good motor. So that's my argument there. I love the Mustang 65. 1965 Mustang was a nice car. I like the 68. It wasn't much different, but I think it was the quarter glass that was kind of different in the rear. Anyways, I don't know if I'll ever own one. If I do, I'd probably put a JZ or something in it. I don't know. Was recently in Tokyo for vacation. Was lucky enough to see Itasha Heaven Festival in Alvadai. That's awesome, dude. Like, that is a festival I wish I had time to go to. I think I was in Australia for that, so I missed it. But I believe Noriyaru was there. So I think it's on YouTube. I think I saw a video of him at that festival. Also visited Nissan Crossing. What other locations in Tokyo would be good for a petrol head? Nismo Omori Factory. Then do at the same time the Nissan official headquarters. They are both so close to they are both really close to each other in Yokohama. You can go to the Nissan headquarters first, and if you're over the age of 30, you get to drive an R35 GTR for free for up to 30 minutes. You just get in line, sign a piece of paperwork, and boom, you're done. You're booked in. R35 GTR, drive it through Tokyo, return it. Boom. One problem. You can't go above 65 kilometers an hour in it. So it's kind of like a tease. But still, you get to do it. It's cool, right? Anyways. So yeah, go to the official headquarters. You get to see some really good Nissan memorabilia, new things that are coming out and stuff that's there. Then go to the Nismo Omori Factory, which is like only 15 minutes away from there. Jump in a cab. You can get there in like 10 minutes. Or jump in a bus 15, 20 minutes, I think. Oh my god. Nismo Omori Factory is amazing. I did a video on it. You can see what's there. They've got Z-Tune GTRs. They've got their factory floor where you see them working and upgrading, doing Nismo upgrades on like Skylines and stuff. It's just awesome. Spend an hour and a half there. Buy some Nismo stuff. That's like the cheapest place, best place to buy it. Yeah. Other things. Up Garage. Go to Up Garage. Have a look at some of the parts there. Grab some little things you can throw in your bag, like some Subway hand rings. That's one thing I really need to talk to you guys about. Stop effing stealing the real Subway hand rings. People are getting pulled up on customs, and then if they're caught with them in their bags, the genuine real ones. There was a report the other day in the Japanese newspaper, not the other day, like a few months back, where someone was banned from returning to Japan because they had so many in there. So they've just gone real strict on it. If you get caught as a foreigner trying to like take that out of the country and it's a genuine real one from a Subway, like you may not be allowed to come back to Japan for a very long time. So guys, stop stealing those Subway hand rings. Just go buy one from Up Garage like everyone else. You don't need a real one. You can, however, buy real ones from really old trains at Tokyo Station, at the JR train store. They have like old ones that people buy to collect. They're like $30. Go buy one from there with a receipt and you'll be fine. Far out, guys. This dude literally was caught. Like, there's CCTV cameras in these cars. He emptied an entire carriage and tried going back to Australia with a duffel bag full of them. Like, how dumb do you have to be? Anyways, I'm sure he's enjoying the fact that he can't come back to Japan. So, hey, right. Have you 2JZ swapped a car? No, I haven't. In the future, I will. They're a good motor. I'm not going to lie. I am a Nissan fanboy, but the 2JZ is just a really good motor. And yeah, I have a couple crazy ideas and things that I want to throw them in. We'll see what happens. I want to experiment with anything I get my hands on, right? So we'll just see what happens, right? What's up with the RB30s? I did explain that before. They're getting exported. Shipping. Yep, someone answered that for me. Thank you, Ben Monroe. How's the insurance like for cars imported from Japan into Australia? Not necessarily your Supras and GTRs, only less intensive stuff like Subaru Legacy. Okay, anything that's been imported, insurance companies in Australia, general insurance companies in Australia, don't want to touch them. Unfortunately as well, one of the really good insurance companies, Just Car Insurance, just kind of went bankrupt and liquidation and closed. So now we've lost one. The only person I think you have now is Shannon's. Shannon's are like the only guys that will insure an imported car for a fair price. Even then, it's quite expensive for anyone under the age of 25. I think it's like $1,200, $1,800, and all that all varies on where you live and what crimes are there. And like if you live in a really safe suburb, your insurance rate's going to be down. And if you have no history of accidents or license suspensions and stuff like that, it'll be fairly good. if you try going through one of those normal insurance companies, like I said, that normally don't want to touch imports, they charge like $3,000 a year. It's ridiculous. Anyways, insurance on imports, generally just anything that has an import stamp on it, a lot of insurance companies are like, oh, don't want to touch because it's weird. I don't know why they would make so much more money out of it, but I think it's just because of the culture of, idiots crashing and doing silly things around them. Don't worry, mate. Upsetting the wife is all of our jobs genetically. It's genetically, yes. Would you ever get a Supra? Yeah, I'd get a Supra. Supras are awesome. I love the cockpit, that like style dash and stuff like that. Would I get one anytime soon? Maybe not. We'll just see what happens. I mean, like if I start doing really well on YouTube, I would love to do a series on like Supras. I'd buy a Supra, I'd fix it up and film it and stuff like that. So, if I got really successful with my YouTube channel, that's totally one of the things I would do. As well as 2JZ swapping and experimenting on things. Like, that's all, like, there's so many ideas I have that unfortunately just require funds. And for me to do that, obviously I can't do that until my YouTube channel is at a point where it can sustain to do projects like that, to create more content for you guys, like on that level of content, if you know what I mean. I'm not asking for money whatsoever. I'm just saying that, for me to do content on that greater level of like doing crazy engine swaps and having videos out like every day of me like working on insane engines and swaps and all that type of stuff, or just buying cars to show you guys and experiment and fix up and then create that content for you. I need the money to buy all that stuff first, right? So, like if YouTube and I become very successful through that, where I can do that, then that's what I'll do. My passion is that, I really feel that we're all on this journey together. And if I was to become successful, then I need to show that to you guys by creating content at the level that you guys have got me at, if you know what I mean. I don't know if that makes much sense, but I'm sure you feel me. Where are we at now? See if you can make a vid with Noriyaru. That would be sick. He would have some cool insight. Yes, that is definitely something I want to do. I really want to collab with people like Adam LZ, Taylor, I forgot his surname. Taylor, Adam LZ's friend's Taylor. And Noriyaru. I already collabed with C0 Media. He's a guy based in Michigan. He's Japanese. So like when he was over here for Tokyo Auto Salon and stuff, we got to hang heaps. That was amazing. And just, like a couple other car guys and stuff. Rob Dahm. Things like that would be kind of cool to collab with. So like they're people I want to work with. I know this sounds bizarre, but I wouldn't actually mind, when my channel's at a stage where I can do something like this. I think it would make really good content if I was able to collab with, bear with me now, Haggard Garage, and make them like build a car with me, but not let them Haggard it, if you know what I mean. Like actually like build a really decent quality car and actually like show them or teach them and explain to them why you need things like a proper VCU for tuning and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like I think that would be really cool content if like we built like a really good solid car together. That would be cool. Like fly them out to Japan or something like that. But I mean, definitely on the style of like previously how they used to like, like it's called Haggard Garage. They used to hag it up cars and things like that. That is definitely not my style and something I want to do. So yeah, anyways. What is your opinion on K cars? K cars are freaking awesome. They're just really good daily cars, and they're cars so that you can go from A to B here in Japan and still fit it in a really tight space, because car parks here in Japan are flipping expensive, and if you do get a little car park here for an apartment, the smaller, the cheaper. So everything's cheaper when it's smaller, right? Especially here in Tokyo, and they're really good at space, and K cars are just awesome at that. So they just go really well with the Tokyo lifestyle. The further you get out of Tokyo and the big cities, the bigger cars, right? You see less K cars. But yeah, K cars are awesome. You get them at a really cheap insurance rate, really cheap registration and shukken rate, and fuel's cheap on them. They're normally only a couple, like 600, 700 cc's and stuff like that. They're just so cheap. And if a motor blows in them, you literally pick one up with one hand and place it in like a battery almost. They're so small. Kit cars are just amazing. Don't worry, it's not in your face anymore. No, I don't think there was anything ever on my face. Would you know where I can buy Tommy Kaira R34 Aero? I don't know, man. Send me an email. I'll have to do some research. I'm not sure if you're spelling that wrong, or I just don't know that make or brand of aero gear. Send an email through to sales@otakugarage.com.au, and I'll research it and get back to you. Don't worry, you skipped my question. Did I really skip your question, Jim? I don't think I skipped your question. Oh, how I did. I'm sorry, I did. How can I afford a car at 17? Okay, it's really hard for me to, I guess, do a recommendation on something like that. Give me a sec. Let me take a drink. For me to say how to afford a car at 17, what's your purpose in the car? Like, this is a really hard question to answer. But I would just say, obviously, hopefully you have a part-time job. Work on your part-time job, save every penny. Don't spend money on candy and things that taste good or games or anything that you don't need, okay? Those are things you want. If you really want a car, and that's the number one thing that you want and you need, then that's where your focus will be with where you're saving your money. You just need to be strict on yourself and be patient, right? As well as when you're 17, I know all you want to do is just get something right away. That's when you're going to make a mistake and buy like a lemon car, like a car that's broken down and terrible and it's going to cost you more money in the long run. It's not going to make you feel good about cars and all that kind of stuff. So make sure that you just are patient, wise, and smart. I know these are all the things your parents have probably told you, but it's the best advice I can tell you. Learn from my mistake. I did some stupid financial decisions when I was your age, when I just turned 18. And I wanted to buy like a really fast car. So, you know, I went and got a bank loan. Do not recommend going into debt whatsoever. It is the dumbest decision you'll ever do in your life. You know, for me, that really held something over me until I could get debt free. So definitely not something I recommend at all. But yeah, just save your money and be patient. And see if you can maybe broker a deal with your parents. I'm not saying like, you know, beg your parents for money or anything like that. But normally what happens is parents will sometimes, you know, like put $1,000 or a couple $100 towards your first car. And they're always willing to, I find they're always willing to help you get your first car. Your first car does not need to be the best thing. All right, let me make that clear. Your first car can be a crappy little Pulsar. Your first car can be a crappy little Daewoo or Hyundai, right? It doesn't matter, right? As long as it gets you from A to B. That's the main thing, right? If you can get from A to B, then what that means is when you finish school, you can start working and then start earning real money, full-time work. And then from there, in like 6 months, you'll have enough money to buy yourself like a nice Skyline or Silvia and something really nice, and then have enough money on the side to then do your style of modifications and things that you want to do to the car to make it unique and your own. So that's my best advice, if that makes sense. Anyways, gotta find my place again. Yeah, that's very true. Someone answered Jim in the comment section and said, without a job, without money, you can't get a car, so you need a job. It's true. Yeah, that's just a more forward way of saying exactly what I did. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. They make good noise too. Yes, 2Js do make a really nice noise. I don't know. I really like the RB sound though. But, you know, 2Js, I do agree they make a good noise. So do rotaries. I think that may have been the person that was talking about rotaries. Hey dude, how did you come to learn Japanese? Did you go on exchange? So, you guys are going to find out a little bit of my nerdy kind of otaku side here. When I was in school, I really excelled and did really well in Japanese, in my Japanese class. In Australia, the second language that's mandatory that they teach you is Japanese. So, at least when I went to school it was. So for me, we had Japanese plus, and I really liked it, and I just found it really interesting, and that kind of started getting me into Japanese culture, and I just found it really interesting, and I started watching anime, and Dragon Ball Z was huge then, and Sailor Moon was actually my very first anime I ever saw, believe it or not, and it was played on TV back in the days. I think it may have even been Cheese TV, I don't know. And from there, I guess my general curiosity just kind of grew, and I started watching lots and lots and lots of anime, and just started picking up like language and things like that here and there. By no means is anime correct Japanese whatsoever. You sound like an idiot if you speak like an anime character here in Japan. Sure, it might be cute or kawaii for the first first sentences, but after that, everyone's just going to think you're an idiot and stupid, or like a really weird otaku person. So most of the Japanese that use in anime is actually really like kind of like street talk, or like just really weird slang, or like like different styles, like cute and yeah, anyways, you get my point. So from there, I started just trying to teach myself the language and like things about Japanese culture. And then at some point when I was, started coming backwards and forwards from Japan, I decided to start doing lessons. So I found a local, Japanese class that was near my house in Australia. So I started attending that. I only attended it for 6 months. And then when I came here, I learned more Japanese in my first week than I did in like the 6 months I did in those classes. And that is because of full immersion. When you fully immerse yourself, or you throw yourself in the deep end, you're going to learn the quickest, right? So I did that, and I learned really fast, as well as my wife's Japanese. She is bilingual. She speaks really good English. She speaks Spanish and a bunch of other languages that just sound like she's swearing at me sometimes. But I ask her and like, what does this mean? What does that mean? And she's able to tell me. So as I said before, I'm not good at reading and writing. In fact, I can't do that. And I'm going to start teaching myself this month that. But casual speaking, I'm okay at. Business, no. I said that before. Business is a whole nother Japanese language. There's a whole different language in Japanese for business. It's nuts. Anyways, so yeah, that's how I kind of learnt Japanese, was just being an otaku, then fully immersing myself, lessons. Yeah, you just kind of, if you have a curiosity for something, right, you're going to seek it out. That's, I guess, how things work. Lol, people love stealing Suica. Oh, people stealing Suica handles. Yeah, it's so dumb. Guys, don't steal the Suica handles. Yeah. Okay, in Japanese yen, how much does a R32 cost on average at the auction? A GTR 32, like $16,000 at the moment. It's ridiculous. They were like $5,000 when I first came here, before America got the 25-year law. They just literally skyrocketed, and now 34s and 33 GTRs are skyrocketing as well, because all these massive companies in the States are buying warehouses here in Japan to store cars in for 3 to 4, 5 years. So, until the 25-year law breaks. So they're trying to snap up all the GTRs and cars that they can, especially the 34, and then store them, literally just park them there and store them. That's it. Forget about them for like 10 years, 5 years. And then when the 25-year law breaks, bam, we've got stock ready to go, shipping them all over to the States, one after another, and it's destroyed the auctions here for GTRs. So prices of GTRs just every day going up and up and up and up, and it honestly breaks my heart, because I really want a 34 GTR and a 32 GTR, but it's looking like, unless I somehow come across like $1 billion randomly in a bag somewhere, I'm not going to be able to afford one anytime soon, because the price just keeps going up and up and up. And the 32 is about to be a heritage listed car, which then means the price is going to skyrocket even more. So it's just how things happen, I guess. We'll see. Enthusiasts underwriting will ensure imports. I'm not sure what you meant by that. Just Car is only being folded into Amy. under the one banner, not bankrupt, just reducing their expenses as Just Car was a reasonably small insurer. Oh, okay. That makes a lot more sense. Maybe the information I read was incorrect then. Fair enough. Do you know how much it would cost to buy JDM Toyota Altezza? The Altezza, that is... Isn't that the same as like the... Oh, they came with it like a either a 1UZ or a 2J in them, didn't they? Like the Crowns or something, aren't they? I'm not sure. I haven't actually ever sold one of those or looked those up in the auction, so I can't honestly tell you. Actually, was that the car that had the beams motor in it? Man, I'm all over the place with Toyotas. Sorry, guys. Do I like R33s? Yeah, I like R33s. They got a nice ass. Front, man. You guys get my gist. I mean, they've always been joked as the boat, right? And yeah, they are boaty, but you throw coilovers and adjustable suspension in them, and they're amazing. Problem solved. Stop complaining. R33s are good. Pros, they're a good car. They're a Skyline. That's the pros. Cons, they're an import car, and it's a Nissan, so things are going to break. It's also a really old car now, like 20 plus years old, so parts, you know, things are going to break a lot. Everyone complains, oh, import cars break a lot, but import cars are quite old now, so, you know, things break. You can't expect, like, one tiny little cam sensor to last 25 years of abuse. Like, that's silly. People are stupid. And if they get grumpy about import cars breaking, like, little sensors like that, if you just replace everything when you get it, no problem. Hey bro, do you have a pay for compliance plate if the car you are importing is over 30 years old? Ah, that is some interesting information. So if the car is over 30 years old and it's listed as heritage or listed as a classic collectibles item according to the country that you want to import it to, you can get away with not doing compliance. You just need an engineering certificate or an engineering stamp, I'm pretty sure. There are a lot of loopholes and things like that. I haven't done it yet. I am about to have to do it, though, for a really old Crown. But I can't help you with that just yet because I haven't done all the research on that. But that is all I know about it. So maybe jump on the interwebs and the Googles and find out for yourself. I always tell my friends, like, when they call me up for tech support or, like, ask for general advice, they're always like, oh, Sam, I need this help. And the first thing I say is, have you Googled this first? And then they're like, I'll call you back. And I never get a call back because they found it in the first search results. So general advice, if I don't know something, I will tell you to Google it. Is there a way to donate to you? If you did want to donate to me, look, look, I do have the, like, donate thing turned on the YouTube channel where you can go to, like, my channel page, and if you wanted to, you can click, like, donate. And that is purposely just to go towards me creating awesome videos and content for you guys. If you did want to do that, you can. I'm not asking you to. And I definitely don't want people to think that, you know, I'm out here just for money. I'm not. We're all on this journey together. And, you know, what you guys provide for me is a subscription and seeing AdSense and stuff like that. And, you know, I'm able to also get a lot of knowledge and, like, just teach you guys and give you guys a really nice insight here in Japan. And that's what I'm passionate about. I love talking, as you probably know. We've been on this live stream now for, where's my counter? I don't even know. Oh, there it is. How did I not see that? I've been on this for over an hour and 10 minutes now. And, like, I'm not even tired yet. So I was only thinking I was going to do this for an hour, but things are going well, so I'll continue. But yeah, if you did want to donate, you can. There's a button on the channel page. I think it's over to the right-hand side, and you can choose to support the channel, which is by selecting an amount that you wish to give. But as I said, that's strictly going towards creating content for you guys. So just letting you know. Ever considered doing a collab build or adventure with the blokes at MCM? Mighty Car Mods. I need another drink of water. My throat's getting dry. Mighty Car Mods. Those guys are very interesting, aren't they? Those guys, if I was to be quite honest, I think they really kickstarted the automotive content on YouTube. I don't think there really was much until people started seeing them doing it and then creating their own channels, and then, you know, people created better content than them and stuff like that. MCM is really good. It's very Australian. Sometimes I just can't put up with Moog's terrible jokes. But that's the point, right? That's why he does that. That's all a character. So, and obviously Moog, he filmed documentaries and worked for company. I think didn't he work for like National Geographic or Discovery Channel or something? I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I remember hearing that. But you know, he's really good at filming that kind of style of footage and content that they create, and it's really good. But has anyone else felt that recently it's becoming more and more commercialized? I don't know what's going on, but it just feels more commercial to me. It feels less kind of like in touch with their like subscribers and local community kind of thing. I don't know. It just feels a lot more commercial now. But do something with them? Yeah, I'd love to do something with them. I'd love to meet them and like chat with them. I've tried reaching out to them before to see if they wanted to hang out at Tokyo Auto Salon. But I guess you know, they didn't see my my email or whatever, or they just, you know, weren't in Japan or weren't interested. But yeah, I'd love to do something with them or do an adventure with them. I think that'd be fun. And like, I'd really like just to know what they're like outside of YouTube, because it's very obvious to me and clear to me that they are putting on a character when they're filming the show. I think that's always been, I think everyone knows that. So yeah, I'd like to know what the people like, what they really like, if you know what I mean. Do you have to pay for a compliance plate if the car... Oh, I've already read that. First car I owned was an N13 Nissan Pulsar with an 16LE single-point fuel injection engine in it. Second car I owned was a N13 Nissan Pulsar with a CA18 DET in it. Power-to-weight ratio was insane. The thing was like... I mean, back then, I may have been like tripping, I don't know. But to me, I set up a timer and I went 0 to 100 on that speed thing in 3 seconds. So it was just really fast. The thing was a death trap. Anyways, I ended up buying a third Nissan Pulsar N13. I bought 3. Oh my god, this is so embarrassing. And I did a CA18D conversion on that as well. So I had, and then I parted it all and tried moving to America. Anyways, you can watch, find out more about that kind of story in one of my videos on my channel. It's called like what was my first car, or all the cars I've owned, or something like that. So go check out that video if you want more information on that. But that was fun. Thank you so much for answering my question. No worries, Jim. The advice was excellent. You're a great inspiration for me. I want to start my own business too. Awesome, man. I cannot recommend starting your own business enough. There needs to be more people that do it. If we're going to save the economy around the world, we need more people that are business-minded, and not just business-minded and being selfish for themselves, but also thinking about how they can help other businesses thrive and work together so that we can grow the economy. I won't go into that anymore. I think you guys know what I'm going. How about snappy origin story? How did you and your waifu meet? Babe! I'll get her in here for this. This is funny. You guys are actually probably going to be like jaw dropped when you hear this, because I don't think I've ever talked about this on the channel before, have I?
No.
Pull up a seat, waifu. Waifu-chan.
Where's my cat, John?
Is this because you're nervous? She hates plushies, but whenever I put her in front of a camera, she gets nervous and wants to hug a plushie. Go figure. Kawaii ne. So, I met my... Wow, you're so short. Oh no, you're just ducking. Sit up. Come on. I actually met my wife at church. There you go. I was...
Yeah, mine was very unique.
It was very unique. I don't think we'll get into, like, all the details. I don't think you guys want to know, like, you know, it was love at first sight, and then, you know, before you know it, we were making out and tongues down. No, none of that actually happened, but I'm going to get in trouble now. I actually met her at church, genuinely. I flew to Tokyo for just a weekend just to go to a conference at the church that we go to here in Tokyo called Lifehouse Tokyo. And she had just been put on then as in charge of social media in general, I think it was. Like live streaming and stuff like that. And as you guys know, my full-time day job here in Japan is I'm essentially a live engineer, which means I look after live feeds of all sports feeds coming in and out of Japan. It's insane. And I'm a very technical person. I look after a lot of IT infrastructure, network infrastructure, and like just designing infrastructure and systems and things for a lot of stuff. As well as previously, the church that I was involved in Australia, I helped design and implement their entire like media system and stuff like that. So a very close friend of ours called Monty, who's the creative pastor at Tokyo Lifehouse, introduced me to her and was like, hey, we just took her on board as staff. Can you give us some tips and advice? And from there, yeah, I got introduced to her, and she was wearing...
Can you just not talk about that for
Okay, I won't talk about the beanie. But... yeah, anyways, she saw me and her mouth was open and like, and I was just like, oh, what's going on here? This is weird. And then from there, we just became really good friends. I asked if she wanted to get coffee, and that was just literally because I wanted to give some knowledge and advice to her and ask her what she wanted advice on. I didn't know that it's like culture in Japan that if you go ask a girl to get coffee, that's like straight up you're dating. Anyway, so I like signed the deal before I even knew that, because in Australia, we go to coffee with anyone and everyone. Who cares if they're the opposite sex? If you're just having a conversation, you get coffee with them, right? That's normal. Yeah. Not in Japan, right?
No. Generally, if you go to school, you can see totally that the boys and the girls are split in the group. They're not always together. Like, if anyone's dating, they're together. But if they're
okay, you went to a different context.
No, but
I'm confused now. You mean just in
Yeah,
general?
just in
There's
general.
always boys and there's girls. They're always separated.
So if you see anyone together at a place,
Yes.
that means that there's something going on.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like a casual
Yeah.
thing. It's like 0 or 100.
Yeah, so the guys and the girls are always separated here in Japan with Japanese culture. Like, as you know, there's, you know, like bathhouses, there's the boys and the girls. At school, there's
Well-
boys and girls activities and all that stuff. They really separate them. So if ever you're seen with the opposite sex, it's just insinuated that something's happening. And the girl also thinks that something's happening. So, anyways, so we had coffee, we just started chatting. At that point, I was just like, sweet, awesome, she's a really cool chick. And we were just talking heaps. We started Skyping heaps from Australia and stuff. Now, she didn't, I don't think you knew initially that I had already decided I was moving to Tokyo before I met you, did you?
No.
Yeah. I had already decided before I met May that I was going to move to Tokyo. So don't think that I moved here because of my wife. Lots of people are like, oh, so you moved here for your wife? And I'm like, well, no, but anyways, because that's a super big cliche here. In Japan, lots of gaijins like move over to get marry a Japanese girl. Anyways, and then from there we started.
8 months later, we got married.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It was 8 months.
No, it wasn't. From when we first met and got married, it was a full year. It was 8 months from when we first started dating that we got married.
Dating.
Yes, no, when I flew over and we made it
Okay.
official.
Okay, fine, whatever. All that matters is the wedding date.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
What's the wedding date again? It's the 12th of September. I just... just stirring you up. I'd never forget that because I know if I do, I'm in real trouble. Yeah, so as she said, we started dating at the end of that year then, and then, which was December.
It was already happening. And
Yeah, it was.
We don't need to go into detail.
It was.
People want to hear about cars.
Babe, you're out of frame.
Oh, sorry.
Don't do that, that looks really bad. Oh my gosh, babe, no, you're gonna make a meme out of me. What was I saying? I've lost all train of thought. So we met. By the end of that year, we started dating, and then 8 months later, I proposed to her. No, 8 months later, we were married. 6 months after dating, I proposed to her in Australia after she met my entire family. And now we've been married for nearly 2 years.
Almost, yeah.
And marriage is amazing, guys. Don't let anyone tell you that, oh, try before you buy crap. Like, honestly, marriage is amazing. You become such a better person living with another person, and like, you stop being selfish. You start living for two people, and you work together, and like, it's just amazing. Like, I can't describe it. Marriage has literally been the best thing for me. I've learnt so much. I've grown so much as a person. I feel like I've become a better person just because of my wife's influence in my life. Like, and that comes from being corrected. Sometimes even when I feel like I am right and she is wrong, and, you know, like, and then it turns out that, hang on, no, I was actually wrong, and and then seeing how the person I love reacts to like how I treat her in certain ways and stuff, I'm then able to go, wait, I don't want that to happen, so then I change as a person, right? And the same for her, like with me. So like you just become such a better person through marriage. And of course, there are benefits and stuff like that. But yeah. Anyways, next question for me.
Can we show them what you got for my birthday?
What I got for your birthday?
Yeah.
This was kind of a joke birthday present. Well, it was also a serious one. She's never she has driven a car now, but she doesn't have a driver's license.
I don't have a driver's license, guys. Sorry.
She's kind of interested in drifting a little bit, and I'm trying to pique her interest. So I got her this for her birthday this year. Let me grab it. These were pretty expensive too. They're like top of the line. I got her a set of Sparko racing gloves, and she literally, when she opened it, was like, "What's this?" Which I was kind of expecting. These are literally the smallest size they make, by the way. Like, anyways, they're her favorite color, yellow as well, and it's to pique. I got them to kind of like as a joke and to pique her interest into
How would you pique?
Get her into driving. Anyways, I don't think she was too impressed by it, but anyways.
But someday.
Someday she'll get to use them. And that's all content that I want to make in the future. And now that I have my car here in Japan, I can actually take her down to Team Orange and put her in a Learn to Drift course at Ibisu. So hands up if anyone wants to watch that. Because she is quite funny when she's put in a nervous situation. So yeah. Cool, I'm going to move to the next question. Tommy Kaida. Tommy Kaida, is that what you're trying to say? I'll have to look it up. Was a Japanese tuning company, and they were like Minds HKS. Oh, okay. I've never heard of them, so that's kind of cool. The company worked with Nissan and Subaru to release special release models. These models featured in Gran Turismo. Okay, well, I never knew that. I never actually played Gran Turismo, so there you go. So was the R32... that price I said for that R32 GTR was AUD, roughly. So, like, it's around that figure. Like, it all depends on what you want at the auction, how clean you want the car, what, like, modifications and stuff like that, and how low the mileage is. It fluctuates so much. What car do you import to Australia the most? At the moment, a JZX Chasers. That's it. Like the Mark II Tourer V and stuff. Ones that are like going to other countries. You wouldn't believe it, but I have a customer right now that's getting 6 Nissan Marches. So I'm in the process of organising that. He's getting a 40-foot shipping container with 6 Nissan Marches, which are the Nissan Micras. So that's kind of interesting. But that's not going to Australia. That's going to Dubai. Let's have a look here. Altezza in Japan is the Lexus. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I was kind of on the right track. So the Altezza, that came out in quite a few models. There was one with a Beams motor in it, which was the motor that was the newer version of the motor that was in, like the 4AG that was in the old 86s, like the Pandas. And then there was also like one with a 1UZ, there was one with the 2JZ GE and a 2JZ GTE. So that's kind of like they made heaps of those cars, hey, that all kind of look the same, right? Just little kind of differences with the taillights and like the fairings and things like that. You don't have to stick around if you don't want, by the way. Well, if you got stuff to do.
You didn't dismiss me.
So. I don't know, like, do I have to dismiss you? That's kind of a weird word to use. I don't control you.
I don't own this channel.
That's true. It is my personal. Yeah. I want to get an MX-5 for a first car. Do you think what do you think for a red P-plate car? I think MX-5s are a great red P-plate car. They're rear-wheel drive. They've got a nice little bit of a power band, and they're good just for getting the hang of driving and things like that. So I really recommend. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with getting a little Miata or a little MX-5 for your first car. I think that's a really good decision. They're normally pretty reliable as well. Parts are quite cheap, and yeah, that you can have a fair bit of fun in them. If you had to get a Euro car, what would it be? I don't think I would ever get a Euro car. I just don't ever see myself getting a Euro car. I don't really like them. I'm sorry, guys. I don't like Euro cars. The only Euro cars I like are like the supercars, right? You know, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, and stuff. But even then, I still think they're kind of a waste of money. But that's just me. RX7 FDs are over 2,500 AUD to get in Australia. Would it be better to just import from Japan? That's pretty much the price they are here in Japan right now. Once again, 25-year law in the States, RX-7 skyrocketed, and now they are even more. Oh, it's ridiculous. They're pretty much over 25k now here as well. The Americans' 25-year law has really done a lot of damage to the price. Well, not like it's good for Japan economy because people are making lots of money here. But yeah, the prices have skyrocketed, so that's affecting everyone in Australia. So it kind of sucks for you guys in Australia. It's good for us here in Japan. Good for people in America, but other countries that were previously getting them cheaper, it's going to cause their prices to go up too. Even some Americans are now exporting JDM imports out of Australia because the GTRs are cheaper. The R32 GTRs are currently cheaper to buy in Australia and ship to America than it is to buy in Japan. So even, yeah, that's happening. That's a thing. Everyone laughing about. Some people commented about you ducking into my lap.
Someone commented in Spanish.
Someone commented in Spanish?
El Chapo. Which means shorty.
El Chapo. In Japanese.
Well, I don't know if he's talking about me or the car.
Totally talking about you. In Japanese, the word for small person or like shorty is chibi. Chibi.
So, chibi-chan.
Chibi-chan. It's kind of a tease word, so maybe don't use that to girls too much. They'll either love you or hate you for it. More hate you for it. Regarding marriage, teamwork makes the dream work. That is 100% true. If you give up, then it's going to fall apart. If one of you gives up, it's going to fall apart. Nissan recently announced a heritage parts program for the 32 and will manufacture replacement parts as well as Nismo variants. What do you think that will do for other aftermarket sellers? I don't think it's going to really affect them at all because aftermarket is aftermarket, and I think they're going to stay the same price range, but the heritage parts are going to be quite expensive because Nissan's really smart. They want to make money. So I think, and because if people want to restore their car back to heritage, like as a fully restored GTR, because that'll be worth more money, they need to get every single Nissan factory part. So they won't touch the aftermarket parts, right? So there'll be a group of people that want really fast, awesome GTRs, and they're going to put big turbos on them, heaps of aftermarket parts, and build a supercar with it. And then they're going to be people that go, I want to buy this car as an investment, and I want to turn this into a heritage car. They're going to take all the aftermarket parts off and sell them, and then they're going to put nothing but Nissan OEM genuine parts on, and then that car's going to be worth more in the long run, right? So they're just two different markets. I don't think you can say that one will affect the other because they're just too different. Anyways, earlier you mentioned that in Australia, insurance companies won't touch importers' cars. So how does it work if you want to import something into Australia? So as I was saying, there are like main insurance companies in Australia. Like they're called like RACQ, Suncorp, and stuff like that. And they really only prefer to insure cars that were released in Australia and not imported. And what that means is some of them will outright just say, no, we won't insure an imported car. Some will say, yeah, we do, but then give you like a $5,000 a year fee. So, but there are some places that, understand that there are car enthusiasts and stuff like that, and they cater for imported cars and accept them and offer them at the same rate as any other normal car in Australia, right? It's kind of a little bit of discrimination. insurance companies put a higher price tag on an imported car because they think that all imported cars are really fast cars and dangerous for young people to drive, and young people are going to crash them all the time, right? Which is true, unfortunately. A lot of young people, their parents buy them an imported car and they crash it. So there is a higher rate of crashed imported cars. Like, it's very high. And insurance companies see that, and they just think everyone who's going to own one is going to be like that, and they put a huge price tag on it. At least that's what I understand from it. Yeah. So it's only kind of like the minority of insurance companies don't really like insuring imported cars in Australia. There are still some special companies like Shannon's and stuff that will insure an imported car no problem at the same rate that a normal car would be. So don't take that the wrong way. I wasn't saying that all insurance companies won't insure you in Australia. Just the minority generally won't. It's like there's only a small handful of choices you have to get your car fully comprehensively insured in Australia. Could you sort me a set of Enki RPF ones? I know approx price from Up Garage. I really feel like being sarcastic here and saying, sure, I know every product that's at Up Garage because they have millions of products, and I have somehow digitally downloaded that into my brain. But I'm really sorry, I don't know a rough price on that. I would have to go check, which takes time, and which means I would put you in a queue behind all the other people that are asking me for prices and emails and stuff like that. So send me an email, sales@otakugarage.com.au. Anything business related has to go to that email address if you want a price on something. I'm not going to really give you prices and do a sale over YouTube, in the comment sections or anything like that. So, but yes, really, really happy to help you out and get you a pair. Just email me and I'll sort you out. 2JZ versus RB26. What's a better motor? Your opinion. My opinion is mechanically, when I look at both motors, the 2JZ is a better motor. When I look at my love for Nissan GTRs, I lean towards the 26. When I think about if I was to modify a few key components on the RB26, like I said, oil gears, if I put on billet spline-driven oil gear collars and stuff on the crankshaft, then I would lean towards 26 as a more reliable engine. It would be just as reliable, I would think, in my opinion. And that's because there's just, obviously the 26, the displacency is different. You only got 2.6 compared to a 3 litre. So like comparing these two motors is a bit hard. I would probably more so compare it to a 1JZ, which is 2.5 litre. They would be pretty much identical mechanically, like in the sense of longevity, that if you put those billet spline-driven collars on and gears for the oil pump, they would pretty much be just as reliable as a JZ. As I said, that is one of the biggest failures, is the oil pump gears and the harmonics causing chatter and them shattering and breaking. And that's just my general opinion, and from my research that I've come to discover. I could be wrong, but yeah, that's just my opinion. Yeah, that's that. But secondhand in Australia is like 7K, and they're not clean, and they have high kilometers. That's why they're buying them, my friend. They buy those GTRs that look ratty and gross, and they wind back the odometers. They give them a dodgy quick paint spray job, and then they sell them for a $21,000 car in the States. Yes, that is happening. Stick with Jap cars. Yes, I agree. Stick with Jap cars. That's a good rule to live your life by. Whatever the 4G63 rules, Mitsu Power. Yes, they are a super good motor. The 4G63, the Evo motors, are a really amazing motor for a 4-banger. They definitely out-trump the SR, that's for sure. If I was to pick a Nissan 4-banger motor, I'd pick a CA18. SRs are just too troublesome and have problems. And the CA is really the baby RB, so CA, yay. Hey man, I'm saving up for my first rear-wheel drive manual car. Do you have any tips on what to get? Depends what you want to use it for, really. If you want to use it for having some fun and stuff like that, but you need something reliable, an MX-5 is a good idea, like a little Miata. If you want a good If If you want a really good platform to build like maybe a drift car or a race car off, get an S13 Silvia, like a little DE non-turbo. Learn how to drive that to its fullest potential, and once you need more power, then ditch it and get something with turbo, do an engine swap or build. Like, it all depends what you want. If you want something you can work on a lot and just build and see progress, totally recommend a Silvia, because they break a lot and you'll be working on them, you'll learn a lot, and you're also going to be building and investing your time into something. So if you really want to get something for the long haul, I would say build yourself like a sick little Silvia or something. You can do so much with them these days, and there's so many kits out there for so many different engine combos. Just one rule: don't put an LS in it. Okay? Thank you. I own an Evo, but would choose RB26 any day. The 26 is just such a cool motor. I mean, who wouldn't want the engine that was in Godzilla that just smashed everyone? It's a piece of history, is it not? Like, I don't know, when everything moved to the V series engines, like V6s and V8s, something about the straight six that just, I don't know, makes my heart skip. I love it. Live in Queensland. Okay, that was just him saying he lives in Queensland. When importing a car, what things do you need to consider when the car is in Japan? Pretty much what I'm trying to say is, what are the costs for importing a car before it sees Australia? Okay, so obviously there's a cost of the car, right? So let's say you pay $5,000 for a Chaser, like a beaten up old Chaser. No, let's pick something realistic for $5,000. Let's say a 180SX. You get that from the auctions. You pay your recycling fee. You pay your, the person who bought it for you, like me, from the auctions and stuff. You pay their commission. Let's say you're sitting at $6,000 now. Now, what now needs to happen is the car needs to be shipped to Australia. But before it can be shipped, you need a few very important things. The air conditioner has to be degassed. You are not allowed to ship any car to Australia that has air conditioning gas in it. The gas that they use in Japan is apparently not the one they use in Australia. It's the older one, pretty much, they use, and that's illegal in Australia, so it has to be degassed, blah, 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 blah. So you have to pay for that. That's normally like $120. Then the car has to be completely cleaned for customs and shipping. That can normally be about another $120. After that, this is where things kind of hit a stalemate. The car has to not go anywhere for a little bit. And that's because we need to fill out some paperwork with the Australian government and get approval for us to import that car to Australia for the intentions of registering it on the road. Normally it's just a piece of paper that they send to you and say, yes, that's totally fine. They never reject it unless it's a car on the not allowed to be imported list. Okay? So that I've never ever heard of anyone getting rejected for anything like that. So you get a letter back. Once that letter comes to you or to the person who's doing the compliance in Australia, then we can put it on the boat and send it. From there it goes on the boat, and your shipping fee, normally with customs, everything included, is $1,600 to Australia from Tokyo. So what are we at now? We're at $6,000 after commissions and stuff. Then let's just say $300 for aircon and cleaning. Then $1,600. So what do we got there? That's $7,900. Then you've got compliance. Lands in Australia. Well, actually no. Before even that starts, then you have to pay GST on the car, but you only have to pay for the sale price. So if the sale price was $5,000, you're only paying $500 at the docks. Then you also got to pay stamp duty or import duty, which could only be roughly will be another $500. So you could pay up to $1,000. It all depends as well on customs, but normally I see GST and stamp duty just being like if the car, it's normally just 10% of the value of the sale of the car in Japan. So let's say you pay another $1,000 on that, so you're now at 8,900 I think. Then from there, compliance starts. Now, if the car is in really good condition, there aren't any modifications on it, like illegal modifications according to Australian regulations, and the tyres are in good condition and all that stuff, it could probably only cost you $1,500 to get it complianced. if you need new tires because the ones are bald or they're cracked and damaged and old, and you need new brakes and you need all this other stuff, like, then it could be $2,000 to $3,000 to get compliance. So let's just say if things went good but not so great, you paid $2,000. So you would then be sitting at pretty much 11K total, roughly. And you've then got yourself a really low kilometers, like 60,000 kilometers, really good condition, Type X 180SX. And what do they sell for at genuine good condition like that in Australia for? Probably couldn't find one less than 20-something grand right now. So, or if you did find one privately, I mean, maybe 15 grand. So, and even then, if you did end up spending $15,000 for like a Type X in Australia, a really good clean one with low kilometers, it still wouldn't be in better, if it had an owner in Australia, it still wouldn't be in better condition than the one that you would bring over from Japan. And the reason for that is because, you know, all those cars that come over from Japan and are sold in Australia go through dealers, and normally they're crashed, like written off, not written off, but just marked as R on the auction, and they're super cheap cars that people get and they bring over, and then they fix them up, put stock parts on them, give them a quick spray, make them look good, polish, and then they sell them. But they've got like heaps and heaps of accident history in Japan and stuff like that, and you know, they're still selling them for that price, and you don't really know what you're getting. And just for peace of mind, a really good quality car, and like actually doing everything yourself, you're going to end up with something so much in better condition, and you're going to feel good about yourself, and you're going to know everything about that car. There's not going to be any hidden secrets, right? And you're paying the same money. You end up with something better in the long run, in my opinion. So, especially for people that really like are passionate about these cars, like, it's better to just import from Japan, because there's no other previous owners that go in between in Australia, and you're getting something, and you're getting an auction report that shows genuine kilometers and everything that was on the car, no dodgy stuff happening. So there's no dealer in between doing cut and shot jobs and things like that. That is a dope t-shirt, by the way. Thank you. You can get one on the Otaku Garage online store. What would be your dream build? I don't think I have just one. I mean, like, I really want to have a R35 GTR one day, at least one day, just for like a daily car kind of thing. But like, if I was to build something really good, I really like the 34 GTRs for like time attack, or I don't know, maybe just like a really nice 34 GTR, like really clean V-spec kind of thing. Like, yeah. But like, I have heaps of dreams, like I said, of just building really cool, like experimental, like swapped cars and stuff like that. So like, but like the R34 GTR really has a special spot in my heart. Like I would probably buy it and just like only drive it on like a Sunday. And it would then just sit in the garage, and I'd just look at it from time to time and just be like, damn, like, you know, it's like my dream car that I kind of wouldn't drive hard type of thing, you know, just to kind of like get and really cherish. I was thinking IS200 or S13. Yeah, they're both really good. Actually, like, you got to realize I'm really biased to Nissan. Toyota is really good. You can get some old Supras and stuff like that that are fairly cheap, and just the old NA ones, and they're really good to have fun in, and good pricing too. So you could get yourself one of those. And yeah, don't forget about Toyota. Toyota's good. Just generally parts are a little bit more expensive for like suspension arms and things like that, as well as diff gear is generally a little bit more expensive. So just keep that in mind. Here in Australia, an Evo 7 costs about €21. In Austria, oh no, he didn't say Australia. I didn't read that right. In Austria, an Evo 7 costs about €21,000. Speaking about high prices, wow, I don't even know what that is. Let me quickly just check. I'll check on my other Mac here. 21,000 euro. Let's look at that in AUD. Holy flip! Are you serious? An Evo 7 costs over $30,000 Australian over there? That's crazy. Wow. I want to ship some cars over there and make some money. We talked a lot about the nice old cars and all that. How about the newer things like the GT86? Oh, I love the GT86. What Toyota did with the GT86 was they proved that people still want like small, sporty, rear-wheel drive cars. And it exploded. Nissan's now developing a new one. I think they're bringing back the Silvia. Mazda brought back the RX. It's an exciting time because things are all happening all over again. I'm really expecting a huge boom with rear-wheel drive sport cars again coming back from manufacturers. I'm really pumped and excited about that because what that's going to do for the drift community and just motorsport in general is going to be amazing. So right now is a really exciting time to be alive and be an adult where you can drive a car. So yeah, I'm really pumped about the 86. The 86, like, people are doing awesome swaps. I do think a 2JZ belongs in them, not a crappy Subaru motor. I'm sorry, guys, I'm not a Subaru fan. I just really like keeping my knuckles when I want to change a spark plug. Yeah, anyways, Subarus can be good. They have a good note to them. When, really, with a really nice exhaust, they can have a nice note. If people put a really big exhaust on them, they're really drony and kind of sound like a wet fart. Anyways, I'm just not a Subaru fan. Like, sorry. Maybe one day I'll get into them. Wow, he was saying that Evo 7, even with 120,000 kilometers, sells for over $30,000. That's nuts. That's nuts. Thoughts on legacies and importing one to Australia? Yeah, you can do that. You can get them fairly cheap over here. I'm just not sure if that's something you would want to go to all the time and effort of exporting. Like, if that's a car that you really are passionate about, sure, I can get you one and stuff like that. But the pricing, I don't think it's going to be too I don't think it's going to be that cheaper than what you can get one for in Australia in the same condition, that it's going to be worth it, if you know what I mean. But yeah, look into it, let me know, and yeah, I'll maybe we can get you one. If I was to buy a new turbo for my RB25, can I just get a bigger turbo with the same fitting and put it on, or will it need welding etc? Also, would I need to tune it after putting in a new turbo? Okay, first of all, it sounds like you're talking about the exhaust manifold. As long as the new turbo is a T3, it will bolt onto the factory manifold. As for any of the piping and the exhaust, you're probably going to need a new downpipe for your exhaust, and you're also, depending on what type of turbo it is, and the style, depends whether or not your original intake tube will fit. You can make one up fairly easily with silicon piping. It bends, and aluminium piping with silicon bends, sorry. As for a tune, yes, you need a tune. Guys, stop thinking you can do stuff like Hager Garage and bolt a turbo on without getting bigger injectors, adding more fuel, and without getting an aftermarket ECU and getting a tune. That's what breaks and kills cars. You add more air to the engine with a factory tune, you're going to lean it out and cause it to blow up. That's just a fact. So make sure that if you are going to just bolt on a turbo, it's never as simple as bolting on a bigger, better turbo and getting more horsepower. You need to get a tune. You need to add more fuel to that air. Otherwise, the mixture is not right, and as I said, it'll run lean and blow up. So yeah, things that you should do if you're getting a bigger new turbo. If you've got to get a new downpipe, I'd look at getting full proper exhaust. That's not going to cause much restriction. And then at the same time, get bigger injectors. Think about, when buying injectors, where you want to go in the future with the car, and then think of a number like that. I think it's generally always safe to pick 1000cc Bosch injectors, because you can always set them to a lower range or a higher range wherever you're at or whatever you need. So your tuner can do that. ECU-wise, think about the future again. If you just want to throw something in there to get it tuned, then get like an Apexi Power FC that still uses the airflow meter and all that stuff. Look, if I was honest, the Apexi Power FC, they're great, they're good, and they're cheap, but they're just really old now, really old technology that haven't been upgraded in 20 years. So it's more lean towards like a Link ECU or a Heltec. So I would recommend those over anything else right now. Proper aftermarket ECUs. Yeah. And then once you've got that ECU, you can then just start bolting on more parts and then just go get it retuned right away. I know aftermarket ECUs are expensive, but guys, if you want to do something right the first time and do it properly, you do need to spend some money. So that's my best advice. So as I said, fuel, you need injectors. you need an ECU for the bigger turbo, and get your exhaust checked, and check out. Obviously, also make sure you got a proper front mount intercooler. That'll really make a big difference too. Even if you are in Team Nissan, but anyways, I would like to get a Mitsubishi Galant, but everyone claims about rust here in Germany and the German quality. Yeah, I can get you a Galant, no problem. That's kind of a common question people ask me for pricing on. So shoot me an email, and if you're really interested and you got a budget, let me know. And yeah, just to clarify, guys, if you're going to email me about pricing for cars and stuff like that, I'm not trying to complain. I'm just being really honest with you. Please don't email me unless you actually have the money and you are ready, kind of thing. Like, you know what I mean? Don't email me if you're just wondering, and then in 10 years you're thinking about buying one, because my time is money to me, and it does take me sometimes 15 minutes to even sometimes an hour just to get a rough estimate on what type of money someone's going to be looking at spending on a car. I have to look at past previous sales on auctions and what's in right now, and then work out an average of all of that to then give to you. So just saying, like, if you're going to email me for a price on a car, that's fine, that's great. I'd love to help you. I'd love to get you your dream car. But just don't email me unless you actually are serious and have the money there and are ready to go ahead, because unfortunately in this business you do get a lot of time wasters. And I'm sure most of you guys aren't that, but I just wanted to clarify in case anyone was wondering. Give me a sec. Let's go back here. What else do we have? As a private importer, SEVS vehicles. Yeah, that's right. If you're a private importer, so under the there are all these different ways to import a car into Australia, and one of them is a private import, which means you owned the car in Japan for at least minimum a year and then brought it over to the country Australia. So with that, you literally don't really have to do much. I don't even think you need compliance to the level that you do that with the other methods. So yeah. Private imports, if you somehow buy a car in Japan and register it under your name and keep it there for a year and then bring it over, you save a lot of money. A lot of money. WRX SDI or Evo? Evo, hands down. Wouldn't touch a sexually transmitted infection. I'm probably going to get some hate for that, aren't I? The R34 GTR V-Spec are a hot bit of kit. Yes, they are a hot bit of kit. They really are. They turn me on. I'm currently in Singapore. Believe me, every number you're mentioning today sounds dirt cheap here. Singapore is insane to own a car. Okay, you buy a Camry, $50,000 from the factory. Straight away the government goes, I want 100% tax of that car. So bam, another $50,000 has to go to the government. Your Toyota Camry now costs $100,000. Then you got to pay insurance and everything, and then you never actually get to own the car for that 100K, because in a certain amount of years you then got to pay another $50,000. Oh my gosh, how does anyone in Singapore in the car community get along? I'm sure they just all get out of Singapore and migrate somewhere, I guess. But yeah, I really feel for you guys in Singapore. It's crazy hard. I can't wait for the 25-year import rule to change in Australia. Evo 3 NSX, here we come. Yeah, that'd be sick. What do you think about German cars? Are they common in Australia? Off the top of my head, I can't think of a German car. Am I crazy for saying that? I really feel stupid right now. I really... German, doesn't... I really feel silly. Oh my gosh, I am so stupid. I've just always called them European cars and never thought the major manufacturers that are from Germany, Audi, BMW, Ford, Mercedes-Benz, Opel, Porsche, Volkswagen. Man, I feel so stupid. I knew Volkswagen was German too. Man, I'm really tired now because it's nearly midnight. And unfortunately, I have a headache as well. I think it's because I was working in the sun on the car all day. So forgive me, please. What do I think about German cars? I think they're well engineered. I think they over-engineer some stuff, though. I think they put too much plastic on things. And they're generally quite hard to work on, which is why maintenance on them for bringing them into mechanic is quite high, just to do like a service and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff you have to do and disassemble, and they're kind of a pain in the ass, but they're nice to look at, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And they normally are quite reliable, too. As long as the owners don't, like... Oh, we had an owner once that brought in a BMW and didn't get an oil change for like 50,000 kilometers. Oh, it's a BMW, it's an expensive car. I shouldn't have to take it in for regular oil changes, right? No. Anyways, what time is it? Oh, I just said the time. It's 11:55 p.m. right now in Japan. Nani? I know it's late. I need to wrap this up soon, guys. I'm sorry. I'll answer the last few questions and then I'm done. Live stream time. That's what time it is. How long are you going to wait until the car reveal? I said this before. 2 more videos are going to go live. A new video goes live on Monday, which is a really exciting video. I might actually just tell you a little bit about it. It's when the new clutch gets installed in my 34, as well as the new Tomei diff gets put in, and the RB30s kind of all get wrapped up and stuff. But anyways, it's a really good content video. You get to see some cool stuff. So make sure you check that out. It comes out Monday, 1 a.m. my time here in Tokyo, which will be 2 a.m. Australia time. So watch that when you guys wake up in Australia. But it'll be 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for you guys in the States. No hate about the SDI joke. I'll have to use it. German cars are very common. Very, very, very common. Yeah, they are very common. I'm really sorry. I feel so dumb for not even realizing that right away. Like, the crazy thing is I knew that. Anyways, Volkswagen is so common. Yes, it is. When will you make your service vid? I will probably make that video when I actually service my car here in Japan. I nearly said what it was. This is how tired I am. I nearly just told you guys what my car is here in Japan. I'll make a service video then, because I'm going to be buying oil, filter, and everything that I need for it here in Japan and then doing it. So it'll be kind of like a cool, like, how to service your car, but also in Japan. So I think that's kind of going to be a good bit of content for you guys. Here in Germany, 50% Volkswagen, 48% BMW, 2% random stuff. that doesn't surprise me, honestly. I feel like it would be more 50%, maybe 40% Volkswagen, 30% BMW, 30% Mercedes-Benz. I feel like that's more accurate. Am I right? Tell me. Stream, great live stream. I can't wait till the next one. Thanks a ton for answering my questions, mate. Go on then, waifu was waiting. Thanks, mate. Have a good night. Yeah, guys, I am actually really pumped about how well this live stream went. I have to admit I was quite nervous. I was worried if no one was going to show up. Once again, guys, I really do want to thank you. I've only done this YouTube channel for only like a little bit over a year now, and I'm already over 3,000 subscribers. In fact, right now the counter says I'm at 3,160. So, guys, we are all on this journey together. Thank you so much. I love you all, and I just can't wait to see where we're going to end up going with this. I just saw another question. I think and hope you're getting an MK3 Supra. Oh crap, I forgot about the Benz. No worries, guys. Once again, thanks heaps for tuning in for the live stream. Make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe. I am going to be... blah, 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 blah. I'm not sure yet. Tell me if you guys want me to make this video, like, actually post this as a video so you guys can go back and watch it if you want. And maybe that's a good thing. And yes, I will remember you guys when I grow big. And I said when then because I know it's only a matter of time. Anyways, guys, once again, thanks heaps. And I'll see you guys all next time. Ja mata ne.